Yesterday we learned about while and do while loop. So today we'll be learning what is for loop. Okay. So in for loop, the syntax will be for followed by begin semicolon. Like begin means what is the initialization condition? What is the value of that particular variable we have to give here? After that, we have to give semicolon. Okay. And then the condition. Okay. Is like if it is I less than 3 or greater than 3 or greater than something. Okay. So that we have to give, and then the increment or decrement we have to give, and what is the code that needs to be run. So even if you write like this, so how it will be running is first the initialization only happens once. Okay. After initialization, it will be checking for the condition. Okay. Then the statements will be running, and if it is increment or decrement, if the condition gets false, it will be uh, exiting that particular loop. Okay. So the while loop was like straightforward, but the same thing which we are doing in for loop as well. But here, like it will follow this particular diagram, like first initialization, then it will be checking for the condition, then it will be running the statements, and then it will be incrementing or decrementing, and then again the conditions. Okay. First initialization, then it will check for the condition, then it will be running this particular body, and then is it, if it is decrement or increment. Okay. Again it will be following the same process. Okay. So even you can compare this same with here. First we are doing initialization, then we are checking the condition, then we are running whatever it is there, then increment or decrement. Again it will check for the condition. Okay. Is there any doubts how it runs?
No, sir.
So first we will be we'll check a few examples. So why we use loops is when there are some repetitive tasks, then we will be using these loops. Okay. Looping through like list of items or like that for array of items, like those. If you want to do something with those, then we'll be using this for loop or while loop. Okay. So if we have to write this particular for loop with if, then it will be something like this. First runs once this begin, and if condition run body and run step. Okay, the same thing here they are writing a pseudo code for that. The same thing which they are telling again. Okay, so this particular one line of for loop, if we write normally without using for loop, it will be looking like this. First I equals 0. If I less than 3, then alert, and then increment this. The same thing without using for loop, how it will be actually processing is like this. Okay. So we can declare this particular I outside, and we can even write this inside. Okay. Like we can directly write where I equals 0, or we can declare where I here, and we can give the value I equals 0 or something like that. So first we'll be checking few examples, and we can also ignore one step initialization. For example, here where I equals 0, here they have given. Okay, here they are just just kept semicolon. That means initialization already happened, so it won't run anything. But as per the syntax, it has this particular bracket has to be at least two semicolons, right? So the initialization semicolon, it's empty, and then semicolon, and this is checking the condition, and again semicolon, and increment or decrement here they are not doing, they are doing as part of this particular alert. Okay, and here they have not defined initialization or anything. So in this case, it will be running like infinite loop. It will be keep on running like that. Okay. So we'll be going to the breaking of loop to some time, but we'll be checking for few of the examples. Okay. So for example, if you want to count, want to print 1 to 10, okay, how will be writing using? So you can also write your own code to print 1 to 10. Okay, just write the code and ping me in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll also write the code. Okay. So what it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it should print that. Let me run this code. It is printing, right? So why? So it all depends on what you are keeping the condition, like what is the point, like at where you are initializing and keeping the condition, or whether you are incrementing or decrementing, right? So initializing to 1 and then checking the condition, is 1 less than or equal 10? Yes, it is less than or equal to 10. So I'm just printing it. Okay. Otherwise, if I don't want to use less than or equal to, I can use less than, and I can just give 11. It will also print the same result. Okay. But if you want till 10, then that's why I kept less than or equal to 10, so that the last statement will also get passed. Any questions here? So I want to print from 10 to 1. So what are the changes I need to do here? Can anyone tell me?
Uh, Decrement we can do, right, Sunil?
Yeah, we can do decrement. And so you are saying instead of plus plus, I have to
Mhm.
decrement it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have decremented it. So will it print from 10 to 1?
No, I supposed to be 10.
Yeah, I is 10. And what is other changes I have to do?
I less than or equal to 1. I think
So this one should
hmm.
be
1, 1 or 0. 0, 0, I think.
So it should
0.
be I less than 0, you are saying, right?
Yeah.
So,
Less than or equal to 0. Okay.
so I less than 0, will it work?
Or less than or equal to, I think so.
And others also can answer. So for example, it came till 1. 1 is less than 0, right? And
Yeah.
0 is less than 0.
No.
So it will stop. 1 is less than 0 is less than 0. No. So I guess it will print it, but actually we should write I greater than 0.
Okay.
I'm just running this code. Let's check.
Nothing.
Actually, it should be I greater than 0
Okay.
because we are checking from 10 to 1, right?
Hmm.
Not getting any output. What happened to this? It might be stuck. Let me just refresh.
It came in.
Okay, it came, right?
Hmm.
It came 10 to 1. And if I give I less than 0, what will happen? It's not printing anything. Why? Because first condition, what is happening? 10, right? 10 is less than 0. Is it true or false? 10 is less than 0. Will it return true or false?
False.
So it won't go in this, right?
Yes.
So that's why it's not printing anything. So if it is greater than 0, then what will happen? 10 is greater than 0, 9 is greater than 0. Till 1 greater than 0, it will be true. And if it is 0 greater than 0, what will happen? It will break. That means like it will exit out of the loop and it will print 10 to 1. Okay, so we'll modify a bit. So I want to print only even numbers. So what are the changes I can do here? I want to print even numbers. Anyone can answer. Even numbers from 1 to like 100. Please answer anyone. Anyone can answer. Even numbers means what? It will be 2, 4, 6, right? So what are the changes I need to make in order to print even numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8. All those are even numbers, right? So
Sunil, We can multiply, I mean, I into 2 like that.
So I can multiply I into 2, and what are the changes I need to do?
I equals to 1.
Or
I,
below for loop, we can include a if statement like I divided by 2.
so we can do in both ways. If I percentile 2 first equals 0, then print I. So otherwise we can like I'll tell both ways. Okay. Till 100, right? So what we are doing here, we are I equals to 1, 1 is less than or equal to 100. So is one uh, 1 percentile 2 equals 0? No, 2 will be equally divided by 2. Like 2 will be uh, like multiplier of 2, so it will be 0, right? So 2, 4, those will be coming because it's all getting divided by 2 exactly, right? So in other case, how Govardhan told, that will be checked. So for that, what we can do is we have to multiply I with 2. In these cases, we don't need this. But in this case, what we need to do? We need to divide this 100 with 2, so that we are multiplying here, right? For example, what will happen if we keep this 100 as it is? It will be printing till 200. Okay, but we want only till 100. So we have to loop a little less, right? Let me check for another editor which events. Want to check. So we can check the timing maybe later. Otherwise, what I'll do, let me. Okay. So here, what I'll do, so there will be some functions to calculate the time, how much time it took for that particular program to run. Console.time, we can use that console.time now and console. So here we are not getting that. Let me just do here. So execution time is 15 milliseconds, right?
Mhm.
So here we can see how much time it took to run the code. Okay, we'll check for the before code which we wrote with. So we'll just keep a track of this. This is 15.8 milliseconds, and we will check how much time it will take for this particular code. It took 4 minutes. Okay, sorry. So here the code is wrong. Here it is executing till 200. One sec. I'll open two tabs so that it will be easy for you. So one is without using F, and one is with using F. Okay. So here, so it is not. It is 5 milliseconds here, and here also it is same. I'll just increase it to 1,000 or 10,000 so that we can get to know the exact difference. So now we are printing from 1 to 10,000. Each time we are like till 10,000 we'll getting the even numbers. Okay, so the time is 1550. And here also I'll just do the same. So here it's 796. So the time which took it is almost half, right? For example, it took 1550 milliseconds. And here it took around 800 milliseconds. Okay, can anyone explain me why this particular code is taking less time and this particular taking this is taking more time?
In this code, it will checking. I mean, condition only for loop is there, right? But here that need to check two conditions. Maybe
And
this
here
condition is there for condition is there for loop is there. It should go into the loop and then it will check if condition, then it will print, right? As maybe it will take more time.
here the main reason is we are looping it only till 5,000 counts. Okay, here 10,000 by 2 is 5,000, right? So here we are looping till only 5,000 counts, and here we are looping till 10,000 counts and checking whether it is getting divided by 2 exactly or not. Then we are printing it. Okay. So for 100, we are not getting exact results. So that's why I kept 10,000 so that the approximate execution time will like vary. Okay. So for smaller loops like 5 or 10 values, it won't matter. But when there are large number of data which you need to loop through, so you have to be very cautious when you are looping multiple times. It will be affecting the user performance. Okay, so here we are looping only 5,000 times for the same code, and here we are looping 10,000 times. Okay, so we should try to avoid more number of executions all the time, right? Is everyone got like, or do I have to explain once again? Anyone, if anyone has any doubts, they can tell me. Okay. I'm continuing to the next question. So for loop, there will be a lot of programs which you can practice on your own. So like for prime number or for any other, okay, you have to just practice it so that you can know like how it works exactly. So we can even break the loops in between. So for that, we will be using break statement. So here it is break is there, right? So that will be using. First we'll be checking what is break, and then we can go how we can use this break in for loop and while loops. Okay. So break is nothing but like when some certain condition matches, we want to exit out of this particular group or like this particular loop. So we might not know that particular condition in prior, or it might be something which user entering. Like for example, here we are asking to enter a number. Okay. Until and unless user enters, uh, user is entering value, like I am adding it to the sum. So if user is not entering something, then null not or false not, it will be true and it will be breaking this particular loop. So here while true means it will be running infinitely. Okay, while true means it will be always true, and where we are breaking this particular or exiting out of this particular loop is by using this statement. Here what we are checking is not value means whatever the, if it is value, if I get false value anytime, then it will be not means not of false is true, right? So if I get false value, then I will be exiting out of this particular group. So here we are using prompt. What will be the false value? False value can be anything or empty string, or it can be zero, or it can be null, anything, right? Let me try to execute this. So I am entering 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and after entering 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I am just clicking on OK. So the empty string will be passing. So after this, what happened? So not of empty string is empty string, not like empty string is false value. Not of false is true. So if this condition match, so we are breaking out of this particular while loop. Okay. So the sum is sum of all the numbers 5, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it is 50. Anyone has any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. So we can know about break again as well. So there is something like continue as well. Okay. So what continue will be doing is, for example, here we are trying, we are checking the value is odd number or not. Okay. So, so whenever we are checking if it is odd number or not, then we want to skip whatever it is printing. Like this continue statement, what it will do. So if it gets true, what it will do, it will not go to the below code, whichever it is there. It will be going for the next iteration. Okay. You can write anything. If it gets uh, true, then this continue statement will be running. So what is mean by continue is, so anything which is under this particular code won't run. So it will be skipping to the next iteration. That means it will be incrementing and checking for the condition. So here what will happen? First it is 0. 0 is getting exactly divided by 0, right? So I'll the continue statement will be running, and the next iteration. So in the next will be incrementing by 1, and 1 is less than 1 is less than 10. It is true, right? So again it will check 1 percentile 2 is 1. So then it is getting failed. So the statement under it will be running. So we are alerting 1. So continue, what it will be doing is, whenever the continue statement runs, anything which is under it written, it won't execute. It will be continuing to the next iteration. Got it? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so for this, it might not affect much, but in real cases scenario where there is very big for loop, and you don't want to execute the below code when that particular condition matches, in those cases we can use this. So we can write the continue in if else, but we can't write in this particular tertiary operator. Okay, it is not allowed to write continue in these particular tertiary operators. Okay, this is a syntax error. Okay, and how we can like if there are multiple for loops, I want to exit only one particular loop. Then how we can like break this only particular for loop, that we can check. Okay, so what we can give is, we can give the labels for this particular for loops. Okay, label means this is outer for loop and this is the inner for loop. Okay, so we'll check this, but as of now I'm just going through the theory. Okay, so here we are giving some label calling as outer colon this particular for loop. So whenever some condition matches, I want to break outer for loop. Okay, so ideally, I guess if you use break, only one particular for loop will be one inside which is it is there, that will only be breaking. But let's check. Let's confirm by doing it. So I'll write a for loop. here. First, before understanding this, we have to know when we will be using for loop inside for loop, right? So like for loop inside for loop, we'll be using, like, for example, let's see what is the example here which they are using. So they're iterating this for loop from I to like I equals 0 to I equals 3, and inside it they're using j equals 0 to j less than 3. So that it means it will be working for 0, 1, 2, and it will be also working for 0, 1, 2. Okay. So here we want to print some like indexes of some matrix like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, like that, right? So in those cases, if there are any matrix kind of thing, or if there are multi-directional uh, arrays are there, then we can use these two for loops. Okay. So how it will be printing this, we'll be checking. For example, we got 0, 0, right? Next, we will be getting 0, 1, 0, 2, then 1, 0. So it is similar to like how matrix looks like, right? So in maths, we have learned matrix. The same way, it will be printing the values. Why? Because we have used two for loops. So how it will be running is, first, this particular I equals to 0 will be there, and so 0 is less than 3. So then we are running this for each. For 0 will be running this, for 1 will be running this, for 2 will be running this. Okay. For 0, the j is also 0, so we got 0, 0. Okay. Then only this particular inside for loop will be running until and unless this particular inside for loop get exit like completes, outer for loop won't run. So that's why I'll show you in editor. Okay. First I equals to 0. For this 0 will be running this. So the I will be always 0 until and unless this particular for loop exits. So here j will be 0, j will be 1, and j will be 2. So then j will be 3. So as j is 3, it exits. Okay. So then what will happen? Then the increment of this particular outer for loop will be happening, and this I becomes 1. Okay. So then again for 1, it will be running 0, 1, 2. So then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. So then it will be running for 2. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. So is everyone got how it runs? If you use multiple for loop inside for loop.
Sunil, can you please repeat once again?
Any doubts or you got it? Hello? Okay. So here we'll be checking like if empty string or cancel, then break the both loops, do something to the value. Okay, so here we'll be taking some input, like, okay, here they are taking some input, and if there is empty input, they are just breaking this particular outer loop. So like the exact scenario I'm looking for, like for example, how we can write it is like, you can write this particular thing for like in order to find the prime numbers and all. but I'll be just checking for break example. So for example, for break and continue, will be checking first, and then will be so if we have array of values, then it will be much easier. But we don't know arrays. But I'll take the array as of now. You can let me know if you don't understand arrays. So like how array will be like, it will be list of items. 1, 0, 3 or 5, something like this. Okay. So in this array, so I'll be using only one for loop as of now. So in this array, like if I find some string or something else, so there are some numbers. If I find string, I have to exit this particular loop. Okay. For example, and to loop this particular array, how we can loop this is, I don't know how many values which will be getting. So I'll be writing array.length. Array.length will be giving me the length. Okay. So in order to get the each element, like in order to get one, how we should write is, so where element is array of I. So array of I is something, array of I means, so it will be starting from 0 to how many values are there. So it is at 0th index, it is at 1st index, it is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So array of 0 means 1, array of 1 means 2, array of 2 is 3. Like that, we will be getting the values. So in array, we don't know what values it will be there. But for example, if we get some other thing which is not a number, okay. So here I'll be checking if type of element is not a number, not equals to number. Then I want to break. Okay, I don't want to continue something, or otherwise instead of breaking here, I want to use continue, so that it will be continue next statement. Okay. So here I am continuing, and I'm just using sum in order to add those numbers. So because if it is a string, I don't want to sum the given numbers. Okay. So where sum equals to 0, sum plus equals to element. It is same thing like sum plus equals to element means sum equals to sum plus element. Okay, it is same as this statement. But like at shorthand, if you want to write, we can write like this: sum plus equals to element. It is same as sum equals to sum plus element. Okay. So at the last, I want to use console.log sum. So sum is plus sum. Okay. So any doubts? Is anyone didn't get what we are doing here? So here what we are doing is, we are going through the each of the element in an array, and if it is string, we don't want to add it. Okay. For example, you see. Okay. So it should only add numbers, not other things like strings. Okay. So I'll run this. So sum is 26. Why sum is 26? Like 5 plus 3 is 8, 8, 1, 9, 9 plus 9 is 18, 18 plus 8 is 26, right? So here what we are doing is we are just eliminating this. How we are eliminating? We are using continuous statement. So type of element, for this it will be returning number. For this it will be returning string. So if it is string, I don't want to add it. Okay. For example, if there is no continuous statement, okay, what will happen? We'll check. So I'm just commenting this continuous statement and we'll check what will happen. So I got something random value, right? So what it did, it added here 9 and then it becomes string. So string 8, 9, 8, ABC, SSS and 9. Okay. So it is not adding properly. So if there is continue, it is adding properly, right? So is everyone got or any doubts here? Any doubts in this code? You should understand how continue works or how break works. Okay. Is everyone got this?
Yes, where we are checking if it is a string.
Can you come again?
In which condition we are checking if it is a string?
So here we are checking if type of operator, what it will do, it will be giving us whether it is a number or a string. So
Okay.
for example, let me show you in, let me show you here. So here, for example, type of some 2 or 3 is a number. It is returning number, right?
Okay.
So if it is type of any string like ABC, so it will be string. So what
Okay.
I am doing here, if it is not a number, then I am continuing to next iteration. Got it?
Okay.
So here I am checking the main condition is here where if it is number, then it won't execute this continue. It will be adding it. If it is string or a boolean or any other things, then it will be adding like it will be continuing to the next statement, next iteration.
Okay, Sunil. Got it.
So break also similarly we can use, like for example, break is something which will be exiting out of this particular loop. So how we can write the break is, so for example, in this I want to find first even number. Okay. So in this array, I want to find first even number. How we can write the code? Can anyone tell me? I want to find first even number in this particular array. How we can write the code? Can anyone tell me? So 1 is odd number, 0 is even number, right? So actually even number starts from 2, but let's see, 0 is not there, some 7 is there. Okay. So I want to find like 8 is first even number in this particular array, right? So
Yes.
I want to find first even number in this particular array. How we can write the code?
Like Sunil, we can add the if condition. Uh, if element divided by 2 double equal to 0, then we
First,
can use the, yeah, We can use the break condition and console.log element.
We can use this, right? Console.log. Here we have to store that number.
Yes.
So if we use break, we can say we found the even number. But I want to print that particular number. So what are the other changes I can do so that I can have that number?
Like here only we can add the concatenation like plus of element.
What? Can you tell me once again?
I was telling like under console.log only, we have found the number, comma plus of element.
Plus
Element. ELEM.
element. Let's check if it works or not. We didn't get element anything. Why? Because element is inside this for loop. Inside this for loop. Okay.
Okay.
So it should be declared outside. So that then only we will be able to access that particular number. For example, even is there. Okay. We have defined even. And what I'll do here, even equals to element. So here we have the even number assigned. And here we have found the first even number. So still I'm not getting the value.
Like
Because there are these empty strings, right? Maybe because of that it's getting error. I'll just remove this strings. Okay. So we got the output correctly here, right? So how many times this particular loop has run? One, two, three, four, five. Okay. So after this, even if there are million values, some other values, it won't run the code for those. So in this, like in these scenarios, we only want to find first, or we can get the value which we want at the earliest. We can break this particular loop so that the performance of the code will be good. So how we can know like till how many conditions we are running is like we are just breaking the code after if we find anything even number, right? So in these cases, it will be helpful break. So is everyone got this, or should I re-explain this? Everyone got? One second. So break, why we are using is if we find the even number, we don't have to execute any last like till last. Okay, we can just break this and we can say we have found this number, right? So we don't use this break out or break outer side. You can just use break outer if you want to break outer for loops. Okay. So for example, even we'll check how that break outer and break inner will work. So for example, I'm labeling this as outer and this as inner. I want to break this whenever I found 1. For example, if I equals to j, so if I equals to j, I want to break this. What will happen? Let's check. So it is not. So it is not printing anything. That means 0 is first. It will be 0 0, right? So it is directly okay. I'm not printing anything. So initially, like let's remove this break and then we'll check how we are getting output for this. Okay. So initially we are getting like this 0 0 0 1 0 2 1 0. So what I am writing here, if it is 0 0, I want to break out of it. So if it is 0 0, break means it will be breaking this particular for loop and it will be incrementing. Okay. So even 0 0 won't print, so it will be become 1 and this will become 0 1 0. Okay. So it prints 1 0. It will skip all this. Okay. So it printed 1 0 and then it becomes 1 1. When it becomes 1 1, it won't even print 1 1 and 1 2 because we have broken this, right? Like how it is working is like if you use break, it will be breaking the inner loop. And again, it will print 2 0 and 2 1. Okay. Let's check the output. Yeah. Like if you use just a break, it is breaking the inner break, not the outer break. So if you want to break everything, then you can use break outer. So we won't get any output. Like if it is, so I ran the code. So break outer means it is breaking outer code. Okay. Like breaking outer for loop. So initially only it is 0 0. So it is breaking everything, like it is breaking inside for loop and outside for loop as well. So we are not getting any output. But if you use just break, what happens? It will only break this particular inner. So the code, the outer and the inner keep on executing, right? So should I re-explain this or did you get it? I'm considering everyone got this. We generally don't use this, but in rare cases when we have to use this, we can use. Okay. So you can practice n number of questions online. Okay. So we can learn about switch and other things tomorrow. Any doubts for today?